You are born waiting, not for a few days, not for a few years. You are born waiting for decades, and the waiting starts before you even exist properly, because you are created, fully formed, just sitting there, while your host is still a fetus inside a womb. You have never seen the outside world, neither has she yet. You are both just stacked inside a grandmother, waiting for a life to begin that won't involve you for another 30 years. Welcome to being an egg cell. Grab a chair. You're going to be here a while. At peak inventory, there are about 2 million of you crammed into two ovaries the size of almonds. 2 million potential lives, all dormant, all waiting. Sounds impressive until you do the math. A human female will ovulate roughly 400 to 500 times in her entire life. That means out of 2 million eggs, fewer than 500 ever get a chance. The rest just quietly degrade over time, absorb back into the body, completely unused. You don't know yet whether you're one of the 500 or one of the 1,999,500. Nobody tells you. You just wait. This is already a terrible start. Years pass, puberty arrives, and suddenly the whole system lurches to life around you. Hormones flood the ovaries like a general screaming, "Wake up, we're running this operation now." Every month, a group of follicles, the little fluid sacs each of you are nestled inside, gets recruited for a competition. About 15 to 20 of you get called up per cycle, each one swelling up, developing, preparing for your shot. This is your tryout, your one chance to be the chosen egg this month. The competition is brutal and completely unfair. Only one follicle wins. One. The others, after all that development, after all that energy spent growing and maturing, simply get reabsorbed, eliminated. The dominant follicle, yours if you're lucky, swells to about 20 millimeters, a blister on the ovary wall getting bigger and more pressurized by the day. You can feel it building. Something is coming. Then ovulation happens, and it is not the gentle, graceful process anyone imagines. The follicle wall ruptures. Explosively, you are fired out of the ovary in a burst of fluid like a very small, very confused cannonball. There is no tube connecting the ovary to the fallopian tube. There is just a gap, open space. You have been launched into the abdominal cavity, and now you must hope, genuinely hope, that the fallopian tube's little finger-like projections, the fimbriae, are waving around in roughly the right place to catch you before you drift off somewhere useless. Sometimes they miss. Sometimes the egg gets lost entirely. Nobody talks about this at the briefing because there is no briefing. You're just out here tumbling through abdominal fluid, hoping geography works in your favor. The fimbriae catch you, barely. You're swept into the fallopian tube, which begins moving you along with tiny hair-like cilia beating in waves. You are no longer in control of your own movement. You are a passenger on a biological conveyor belt, slowly being shuffled toward a destination you may or may not survive reaching. You have 12 to 24 hours. That is your entire window. If nothing fertilizes you in that time, you die. No dramatic finale, no final stand. You just break down and get absorbed. And next month, a different egg gets the same shot. The machine doesn't warn you. It's already recruiting the next batch. But today, apparently, there are sperm incoming. Millions of them. This sounds like good odds until you understand what those millions have already been through. Of the original 200 to 300 million that started the journey, most died in the first 5 minutes. Wrong pH, wrong turn, general incompetence. By the time any of them reach the fallopian tube, you're looking at a few thousand survivors, tops. They've been swimming for hours. They are, by any measure, completely exhausted and operating purely on instinct. They find you. What happens next is less romantic than advertised. Sperm are ramming into your outer layer, the zona pellucida, over and over, each one releasing enzymes trying to dissolve through. You are being headbutted by thousands of desperate single-celled organisms simultaneously. It looks like a mosh pit at the world's most consequential concert. One of them, eventually, hopefully, gets through. The moment it does, you do something remarkable. You trigger an immediate chemical lockdown. The zona pellucida hardens in seconds, blocking every other sperm still trying to enter. Thousands of them, still hammering away, suddenly hit a wall. Too late. Access denied. You have one winner and the rest of the army is turned away at the door. Some of them will keep trying for hours. It won't matter. Fertilization is happening, but you're not done working yet. You have to eject half your chromosomes, 23 of them, shoved out in a tiny discarded package called a polar body, to make room for the sperm's 23. You are essentially throwing away half of yourself to make this work. The polar body just floats off and dies. Nobody mentions this. You don't get a moment to process it. There's a new cell to build. The fertilized egg begins dividing. You, as an individual, are already gone, absorbed into something new, something bigger. Your identity dissolves into the project. After everything, after decades of dormancy, the brutal follicle competition, being explosively launched across open abdominal space, surviving a 24-hour deadline, getting headbutted by thousands of exhausted sperm. After all of that, you don't even get to exist at the finish line. And there's still no guarantee any of it worked. A significant portion of fertilized eggs never successfully implant in the uterine wall. They just pass through unannounced, unnoticed. The whole operation, the competition, the launch, the journey, the fortress breach, ended in nothing. The body doesn't flag it, doesn't register it, just resets and starts the whole process again next month. You survived decades of waiting for a 24-hour window. You made it through a competition that eliminates 1,999,500 others. You got launched across open space and caught by luck. You held off an army of millions and let exactly one through. Then you disappeared into something else entirely, with no guarantee it even worked. The system already forgot about you. Next month, it'll try again.